Hello, everyone. Today we are going to share with you the cultures of Venezuela, among many other facts about the country. This presentation is brought to you by Kimberly Martinez, Jonathan Beretta, Sagar Patel, Jesse Quiroga, Kent Ruderman, Gary Warren, and Tabitha West. According to the website worldometers.info, the current population of Venezuela is 28,407,365, and its capital city of Caracas is approximately 3 million. Caracas is also listed as the largest city in the country. Venezuela's land area is 912,050 square kilometers, which is about 1.4 times the size of Texas. The website shows a live feed of the country's fluctuating population. Worldometers.info notes that Venezuela's population was estimated to be around 28,435,940 in mid-2020. Since I first researched the site on October 21st, the country's population has decreased by nearly 4,000. Looking back on Venezuela's population history, in 1955 the country had a fairly balanced split of being 45% rural and 55% urban. Since then, every 5 years the urban population has shown an average increase of nearly 2 million. By 2020, the entire country's population would be living in an urban village. As you can see, the average life expectancy at birth of the Venezuelan people is slightly over 72 years of age. The average for the female population is 76.3 years, which is almost a full 8 years over the male population of only 68.6. The median age for the country is 29.6 years. Venezuelans are a diverse group of people with multiple ethnicities living among them. The majority of the population is mestizo. Mestizos are a combination of European, Amerindian, and African descent regardless of birthplace. The next highest population is white Venezuelans, which predominantly have European ancestry. Black Venezuelans, also known as Afro-Venezuelans, can trace their lineage back to Africa and make up just 3.5% of the population. The indigenous people create 2.5%. They are native to the land and are primarily located in the southern Amazon rainforest and the western state of Zulia, which is in the northwest corner of the country along the Caribbean coast. The remaining population is mixed among people of Arab, Middle Eastern, and Asian heritage. The education system in Venezuela is very organized and has one of the highest literacy rates in the region. 93.4% of the population aged 15 years and older can read and write. It is required by law that children between ages of 6 and 15 attend school. About 20% of the national budget is allotted towards education, but tuition is free from kindergarten all the way through the university level.
Culture. Venezuela is a predominantly Spanish-speaking region. The region is urbanized, with approximately one-fourth of the land used for agricultural purposes. The people are urbanized, living in cities and small outskirt communities known as barrios. There are vast wealth inequalities between the rich and those who are not. The vast wealth inequalities have led to general acceptance of social class hierarchies in the past. However, the middle class is almost non-existent due to the unequal allocation of wealth. Now, the division between the haves and do-nots is whether a person has foreign currency. Many people, in fact, are earning their income by standing in line at state stores for basic goods, which they resell at a high markup. The region is mostly Catholic, but recent surveys show that the amount of people that identify as Catholic is declining. Other religions include Protestant and folk belief, such as Santeria or Espiritismo. Although there are estimates that many of the people participate in some sort of folk belief practice, it cannot be confirmed. A lot of the followers keep it secret and often hide it from their own family. You should never ask a person what their belief is because it can be considered superstitious or taboo. Venezuelans expect semi-formal communication between strangers until they are well acquainted enough to use first names. In business and formal settings, you are to shake hands and maintain eye contact with a person when first meeting them. After getting to know someone, Venezuelans will embrace each other to say hello. It's also appropriate to kiss business acquaintances on the cheek. In social settings, you are expected to greet the eldest person of the group first, and when leaving, you should tell every person goodbye on an individual basis. It is considered rude to give a general goodbye to the entire group. Additionally, you should always address everyone by their surname, as señor or señora, until they give you permission to be called by their first name. For example, I would be greeted as Señora Martinez upon first meeting me. Venezuelans are social beings and like to host dinner parties for friends. When attending a dinner party, it's considered polite to dress nicely and bring a small gift such as a bottle of wine or homemade cake. Further, Venezuelans are very relaxed about time and often begin and end things later than planned. Hosts actually expect that their guests will arrive late because the host may not be ready if their guests arrive early. Finally, a group of people that understand me. In general, Venezuelans are often described as warm, welcoming, and open people. Do's and don'ts. Be respectful to everyone, especially the elders, and be extremely respectful of your spouse's family, as family is very important to Venezuelans. Always look your best. Venezuelans take pride in their appearance. They do not like bad hygiene or dirty clothes. Give criticism and negative opinions in private. It's considered rude to say it in front of others. If you don't have anything nice to say, make sure you say it behind closed doors. Be patient during conversations and do not interrupt. Venezuelans are known to make a short story a very long story by giving a lot of detail. Still, it's important that you do not interrupt them. Be tolerable of a lot of noise. Do not give your personal opinion regarding the current political tensions. Let Venezuelans speak and simply listen. Do not refer to Venezuelans as Latin Americans. They identify as Venezuelans above all. In fact, they find offense in being called a Latin American over being called a Venezuelan. Do not ask about religious beliefs. It's rude, superstitious, and taboo in general. And above everything else, do not criticize Simón Bolívar, their national hero. Here are some significant dates and holidays, separated by national date and Catholic dates. You'll notice that the significant Catholic dates align with those of United States Catholicism.
Venezuela has a political system classified as a federal republic. This form of government is a constitutional government in which the powers of the central government are limited by law to create individual states or provinces with certain degrees of self-governing powers. The government contains the executive branch, the legislative branch, the judiciary branch, electoral branch, and the citizen branch. The executive branch of Venezuela currently has two self-appointed presidents, President Nicolas Maduro assumed the presidency after the death of President Hugo Chavez in 2013. During this time, Venezuela has seen a dramatic unraveling of their economy, which has created an enormous food shortage for the citizens of Venezuela. This decline has sparked civil unrest and several protests. However, in May of 2018, President Maduro won a re-election to a new 6-year term. This civil unrest has sparked opposition towards Maduro. In January of 2019, President Juan Guaido took the oath of office and declared himself as interim president of Venezuela. This parallel government has excited the country with hopes of a better tomorrow. The legislative branch, also known as the National Assembly, consists of 167 members. These members are voted to 5-year terms. The division of the 167 seats include 113 seats are for the candidates with the majority of the votes. 51 of the seats are designated to the proportional vote. An example of this is if a candidate of a party wins 40% of the votes in a 10-member district, then that party will receive 4 of the 10 seats, and the remaining seats are assigned to representatives for indigenous people. The Venezuelan judicial branch, also known as the Supreme Tribunal of Justice, consists of 32 justices. These justices are elected by the National Assembly for a single 12-year term. They are divided into 6 chambers: the constitutional, political administrative, electoral, civil appeals, criminal appeals, and social issue appeals. The Supreme Court is empowered to hear accusations against high public officials or diplomatic agents and certain civil actions arising between state and individuals. The electoral branch is responsible for registering eligible voters. To be an eligible voter, a citizen has to be 18 years or older. The electoral branch is also responsible for operating the polling places, counting the votes, ruling on appeals from lower electoral boards, settling the controversies between 2 parties. Also, no political party may have a majority on the C&E. The citizen branch ensures that the citizens and the government officials follow the countered laws. It consists of the Attorney General, or the Fiscal General, the Comptroller General, and the Defender of the People, the Human Rights Ombudsperson.
After doing some research, some business partners from Venezuela are going to be their trading partners, which seem to be the United States, China, Brazil, Colombia, Mexico, and the Netherlands. Venezuela is looking to improve and increase its trade relations with the South American zone, the EU, and China.
Here's Venezuela's imports. More than 3/5 or 62.7% of Venezuela's top 10 imports accounted for the cumulative amount of its export sales from other nations. Here are some of its top imports. Minerals, fuels including oil, comes out to 965.3 million or 17.3% of the total. Cereals, 554.7 million or 9.9%. Machinery including computers, 519.9 million or 9.3%. Electric machinery and equipment, 396.7 million or 7.1%. Rubber and rubber articles, 197.4 million at 3.5%.
Venezuela is the world's 10th biggest exporter and the 13th largest producer of oil. Its oil reserves is the largest in the world at 176.4 billion. Crude petroleum is 23.2 billion, and refined petroleum is 3.03 billion. Service exports ranked 70 in the world in 2018. Venezuela's exports total 31.2 billion, making it number 67 in the world. In October of 2020, Venezuela's oil export fell to a historic low of 359,000 barrels per day since 1943. The Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela shipped an estimated 16.5 billion worth of goods around the world in 2019. The estimated 16.5 million of exports in 2019 represents roughly $600 for every person in Venezuela. Venezuela's top exports are mineral fuel, which is 89% total export, organic chemicals, which is 2.5% total export, iron and steel, which is 1.4% total export, gems and precious metals, which is 0.7% total export, aluminum, which is 0.5% total export, beverages, spirits, and vinegar, which is 0.5 total exports. Venezuela's top 10 exports account for 93% of the world's value of its global shipment.
Products produced in Venezuela. Agriculture in Venezuela has much smaller share of the economy when compared with other Latin American countries. The main agricultural products of Venezuela are corn, soy, sugarcane, rice, cotton, coffee, cocoa, milk, fish, and eggs. Petroleum is one of the most important natural resources of the country, along with gas, bauxite, gold, and silver. The most important agricultural item for industrial use produced in Venezuela are cotton, tobacco, and sisal. Two varieties of tobaccos produced in Venezuela are black and virgin blonde. Virgin blonde is used to make certain parts of cigarettes for US companies under license. Sisal is grown and used to make bags to store grains and coffee. The service sector represents 52.6% of the Venezuelan GDP and employs 71.8% of the active population, making it a major source of revenue and jobs. The sector also includes banking and finance, agriculture, education, medicine, bars, and restaurants. Together, this sector employs two-thirds of the total employment in Venezuela.